One thing that I've noticed a lot of people who are into self-development do not practice is continuously cleansing themselves off of their previous biases and prejudices, having the willingness to question themselves and their own belief system and demolish them if they no longer serve them for their future chapters. In simple words, people who operate only based off of stereotypes and general statements. I have observed as the society continues to rely on the stigma and stereotypes for people to create divisions against each other. And quite ironically enough, social media definitely pervasively penetrates this idea and glorifies toxic behaviors that limits expansive thinking and critical thinking skills. You see, your consciousness has no limitation, but your mind can definitely be tied to a system. And this system that your mind operates off of is a construct of different belief systems, your perspectives, your perceptions, your life experiences, your personal feelings. And you might be very fixated on only operating off of that instead of constantly questioning yourself and expanding your horizon and your viewpoint and being willing to be wrong even and challenged in your perspectives. I believe that this is a primary reason why most people do not progress, and therefore our society at its rate will likely be stuck in a certain demeanor, where divisions and separations will pervasively remain relevant, where a lot of people will support this idea even. I mean, you see this all the time. Women hating men, men hating women, patriarchy, ableism, bigotry, stereotypes, racism, systematic racism, personal biases, like it's everywhere. And you're a part of this. Literally every single person, unless they're constantly questioning themselves every millisecond, they're contributing to this collective energy of separation and divisions. And people will even build relationships and communities off of this. Like, for example, there's communities for survivors, there's communities for, narcissistic victims. These types of communities are built off of trauma bonds. And of course, there's the support aspect as well. But a lot of individuals, the way that they seek these communities is to get their personal feelings validated. And while there is fundamentally nothing wrong with that, because I do believe that there is such significance in creating support groups for a lot of people while they transition through difficult periods, for a lot of people, they do not ever come out of that specific victimized situation mentally, a mental trap, a mental imprisonment, where you do not get out of that mentality and help yourself see more, because that seeing more is what's essentially going to help you experience more. So the problem here is that a lot of people are only looking for a certain thing to hold on to give themselves identity, and this actually stems from the individual lack of self-esteem and identity and individuality. People are constantly looking for validation and outside approval, and they want to belong to a societal group. They want to belong somewhere. They want to be liked. But rarely do they really come back to themselves and ask themselves what it means to be authentic, what it means to expand as a person, what it means to grow my perceptions, and what does it mean to engage in a paradigm shift? What does it mean to question myself and challenge myself? Most people don't know this, but I've been on my own since I was 12 years old. While I've had such eventful and colorful life experiences, what this life experience taught me is that there is no single group of people who is more evil than the other. But I do definitely see the stereotypes exist, and society is responsible for that. But who's responsible for the society? The people, the individuals. And even just recently, I got attacked by a homeless person. I could use that experience to really talk horribly of homeless people, but this is not a homeless people problem. Violence doesn't only exist in the homeless community, because I've experienced being violated and being manipulated by someone with crazy amount of wealth as well and influence. You have to realize that violence and manipulation doesn't always look like this overt attacks on you physically. Sometimes it's psychologically pervasive, it's psychologically damaging, it's covert manipulation. But if you don't have this eye for this, and if you're only leaning by what society teaches you as violence to be, where you're only relying on other people, especially media, to teach you what violence is, what dangerous people look like, you're never going to learn. And you're part of the problem. You really are part of the problem, because you don't have the mindset to question yourself and expand your own viewpoint. That is a problem. And you are contributing to the ignorance of the society.